Traders in the building, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, I'm so glad that you've discovered me, and if you're a returning subscriber, you already know what time it is, man. It's the time of the week where I do the weekly analysis, and today I'll be doing the dollar index, gold, US30 and US100. And I'll start with the dollar index since it's the first on the watch list. So as you can see from the get-go, I'm bullish on this market, and to explain why for those who are new to the channel is because the trend is bullish. That's number one. I say this because we keep making higher lows, and we also keep making higher highs. So overall the market is going up. Another reason is we are currently above a level of sensitivity. We are currently above a support. This is a support because you notice how price is currently bouncing off of that area, and when price was below it, it was a resistance. So you know the rules of trading: old resistance broken becomes a newly formed support. The same if an old support is broken, it becomes a newly formed resistance. So those are the rules of trading. So I'm bullish on this market for that reason. But if you go to a smaller time frame, you will understand another reason why I'm currently bullish on this market, and this is potentially where I think price is gonna go before I can either be bearish or either look for something else. But let's go on a smaller time frame and I'll show you what I mean. If you go to the daily time frame, which is the time frame that I prefer to start with when you come from the monthly time frame, I don't really look at the weekly because it's almost the same thing as the monthly time frame. So you notice over here we just recently broke this particular resistance over here this week. So now my best anticipation is that okay, we might be going to that. We might be heading to this now new resistance over there. So how can you take advantage of this move going up? It's easy. My rules of trading are simple. I always look for a break and a retest to the direction that the market is going. So as you can see over here, I do see that we do have a support. Honestly, it was a resistance before, right? And now we just broke above it. It will then become our newly formed support. So how can you take advantage of this? You wait for the market to come back to retest, and this is where you want to buy this market, and for hopefully to those highs, and hopefully if we get to that high we can break and continue in the upwards direction. But that's all I have, man, for the dollar index. There's nothing more, there's nothing less. So going to another pair of the day, which is gold. So as you can see, man, I'm currently bearish on this particular market, and I'll explain why. You notice over here we do have a resisting trend line. Obviously, if you didn't know, now you know. So I say this because you notice we did have a first touch over here, second touch over here, third touch over here, and now we are there for the fourth time. And as you can see, the market is currently rejecting from that area on. And another reason is we do have an area of sensitivity over here. We do have a resisting, as you can see, a resisting zone. So anytime price gets there, it likes to drop. It gets there, it likes to drop. It gets there. So now currently we are seeing that drop again. So I'm anticipating the same thing, that price is going to drop from this market at least until this low. Then I can wait and see what the price does. If it can break and break below, then I'll continue looking for sells. But if it bounces off there, then I'll start looking for buys. But I don't have anything on this monthly time frame. I'm bearish on gold, and those are my reasons why. But another thing is, if you go to a smaller time frame, you will then notice again that there is structure to the downside, and which then confirms these sells that we are anticipating on a higher time frame. You notice over here we did have an area of sensitivity over here, a structure. This is where price last week reversed from. This is where I anticipated it would reverse from. But that's a thing. It's not that I have a magical way of understanding how price is going to move. I just do the same thing over and over. And now that's the thing, you will not be wrong each and every time. Sometimes I am wrong in the markets, but most of the time I'm not, because I stick to this one rule of break and retest, and I follow it daily. I follow it each and every time I trade in the market. Hence now I'm so profitable. So also if you have a strategy that you have, don't change your rules only to suit the market condition, but rather stick to your rules and try to trade price based on your rules, and you see change in your market. But that's not what we are here for. So as you can see over here, this was the previous support, and price broke that support, and it did try to come over, and it failed for some time, and then eventually it broke. And when it came again, it bounced off of that area, and then eventually it broke. So last week we were there, and I was like, okay, I do see that price hasn't really broken. If you notice, if you zoom it, for those who don't know, these candlesticks didn't close significantly above this zone, which then signaled to me, that was the first signal that okay, this price is not necessarily bullish at the moment. So I can expect a reversal like we just got last week, but I didn't know it would do that. I was just that was just my bias, that I'm looking for sells, and if it had bought that was not a problem. Again, I was just gonna wait for a retest and buy. But because I have a bias, I'm looking for sells, and now with that in mind, I then had to go on a smaller time frame and take my entries on a smaller time frame to the direction that I've already anticipated. And as you can see, I'll post a screenshot over here. There's a trade that I took, and man, it was a great one. And also also yesterday Friday I took another sale, and I'll show you. I'll post another screenshot over here. I took that sale, and I ended up closing earlier because it's Friday, and Friday usually does come with a reversal, and it did exactly that. But then eventually, you know, man, it's the market. That's how it goes. So yeah, man, that's all I have for gold. I don't want to go in a smaller time frame, but let me show you the trade for those who might be wondering how I took this trade. I trade on the 15 minutes time frame. If you didn't know, go and watch my recent video on how I trade. I exposed everything over there. Not really even exposed, I just shared my strategy on how I approach the market. So this is how I was looking at the market. You notice over here, we did have a low over this area. You notice how price was supporting from that area on, right? And then it had broken. This was on Tuesday, and I saw that price was now currently trading below this area of support over here, which then became our resistance. And I was like, okay, you know what, or if price now has broken below this area over here, I would love to sell on the retest. So it broke, and I was like, I would love to sell on the retest, and it gave me that retest, and over there I took that sell. And as you can see, man, the screenshot is over here to prove that I took that trade, and yeah, man, I won that trade. But that's all I have for gold. There's nothing more, there's nothing less. Let's move on to US30, and we are gonna close with the Nasdaq instrument, the US100 for now. Let's go to US30 on the monthly time frame, and I'm bullish on this particular market, and I'll explain why. Last week I did share with you guys that okay, let's start over here. You notice this is the monthly time frame, by the way. The US30 time on the monthly time frame. So the reason why I'm bullish is because we just come from a support, and you notice how when we get there, we just without hesitation went straight upwards. So my thing is, if you come from a support, we are most likely going to go up to until a resistance before we can see either a rejection or a continuation. So currently I'm looking for buyers at least until we reach this area of resistance over here. Until then, I'm not looking for sales in this market. But now let's go to the daily time frame so you can see how you can take advantage of this move going to the upside. It's easy, and I'll explain something I did say last week. Last week I did say to you guys that this market, because it was somewhere around over here, and I did say that I'm expecting with this arrow over here. Let me move the arrow on the side so that you can see it. How can I move it? Right, so the arrow was like this, and I did say that I do believe price could come back down over here, and from there it could buy, and this is exactly what it did. But not because I know how to predict price, I simply know how to follow price. I've seen these things happen over and over. I know how to identify these patterns. Same thing, if you have a strategy, hence I always preach, learn a strategy, stick to it, and trade it over and over. It's not that I have a holy grail. I don't have a secret on how I trade. There's really no secret in the market. Anyone who tells you they have a secret, there's no secret. It's as easy as it gets. You just need to have the discipline to apply the same thing over and over, and you're gonna see the result. Honestly, this was a resistance before price broke it, came. I did think back then it was gonna buy, and price broke below, and because it had broken below, I was like, okay, no, now the support has become a resistance. I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait a retest, and then I'm gonna sell there, and then price again broke above, and I was like, okay, it's fine. So prices again still above this area on. So now I was like, okay, last week I'm gonna wait for a retest, and then from there I'm gonna buy this market, and I'm still saying the same thing. So as you can see, currently now we did get those bullish candlesticks indicating that the market is currently failing to break below, so we can expect a continuation to the upside. Rather, again, you can also mind this area of resistance over here. When price gets there, it can do anything, so please do observe it very closely. And yeah, man, that's all I have for US30. There's nothing more, there's nothing less. Let's move on to the last pair of the day. This is US100, also known as Nasdaq, and I'm closing with this one. I'm also bullish on this particular market, and you look at it, it's similar. It's so similar to US30, man. Number one, I'm bullish because we are in a bullish trend. We keep making higher lows and higher highs, you would say. But honestly, from there, price has just been trying to kind of ranging, I would say. So now, as you can see, like I always say, if price comes from a support, it's most likely going to go to a resistance. So we haven't really got to that resistance. So if you go on a smaller time frame, the daily time frame, you will notice that we did currently break above a structure, which then signals to us that we are indeed bullish in this particular market. So the reason why last week, 3 weeks back, I thought that we are going to sell this market is because price had broken below this area of support that it had created over here. So now it was like, okay, why couldn't price just continue up and break that resistance, and instead it went down to break this support? I thought because of that price was going to continue selling, right? But guess what? Last week, then price then pushed up, obviously, and then it means it got again above that area of sensitivity. So I did say last week I'm expecting a reversal and then a continuation from this area on. So as you can see, we haven't still broken below. We are still at that area, so you can expect immediate buys as soon as we open the markets on Monday. But you need to go in a smaller time frame. Obviously, these are very volatile instruments. You need to trade them either on 5 minutes or 15 minutes. If you trade them on a 4-hour or on a daily time frame, you are just gonna blow your account, honestly, because you might never know where to place your stop loss. So please do consider the smaller time frames, and if maybe I can guide you on this one. If you go in a 15 minutes time frame, let's see how we can take advantage of this one on the 15 minutes time frame. So now I'm just giving you tips, right? If you want to buy this market, do like this. Wait for price to break above here, because that's what I would usually do. Let's see, this is a support, obviously, resistance. I say this because notice, okay, let me do like this. You notice over here it was a support and price broke below it. It became a resistance, clean resistance, and rejecting, and until price can break above it. If price is still below here, don't look to buy. At least let it break above, come for a retest, and then you're gonna buy from there. That's all I have, man, for the week that is coming. Thank you for watching up to this far. I love you guys. Thank you for the continued love and support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends, man. Right? Yeah, man. Let's see you on another video next week, same time, same place. I love you guys. Bye.